Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and starting off we have a little bit of a problem. So, you see that building in the back there? That is my villager hall, and I plan on putting a building in between my villager hall and my two farms right there. So, I don't really know how I'm going to do this, because I don't want the height disparity to kind of cover up the villager hall. So, let's bring out this handy dandy sheet right here real quick. And with this, essentially what I'm going to need to do is create a house using my amazing drawing skills here behind the other ones that isn't as high as the villager hall, but it also isn't as low as the other houses. It needs to kind of tier up. And I also need it to be a slightly different style because of how different the other house is compared to, well, the main houses on the city. So, few problems there. How am I going to solve this? Well, the beauty of it is my creative test world. Alrighty, moving on from that little tidbit. Oops, sorry about that right there. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the process of me in my creative test world and what exactly I kind of go through in the creating process. Of course, yes, I have mods in my creative test world, and it makes things so much easier. So if you guys don't agree with it, I'm sorry. Now I do want to note, this is already an 8 times speed, and then I went into my video editing software and we went to 3 times speed, and I don't even finish the thing because I don't want to spoil too much. But I just kind of want to show you guys, what exactly I'm going through here. Really just building up the base here, adding the smaller details. Now, I do have a little bit of back and forth in the middle here of where I put the texture on to see what it looks like. Go, this doesn't look too right. I need a little more crowded stuff. I was going to put like a little community center right in that big empty space, but I don't know if I'm going to put it there anymore for what I add in. As you guys can see, I'm adding in the balcony and whatnot. But yeah, everything just kind of goes through a little bit of a process. I actually have been putting in the texture last, finding out the builds have been coming out a little bit better, and I do use a mod for that. I use Axiom. Best mod in the world. I could not have asked for anything else. Still learning how to use it and all, but overall it's just pretty simple. Copy, paste, and then I'm pretty much done. So yeah. Alright, for what little spoilers I am going to give, this is going to be a sheep farm because I want a lot of wool, because I do want to start kind of sort of free riffing some builds. But this is what we got in place here, and I'm going to start building it up now. But we're going to need a lot more materials. I definitely need this though. This should be enough dead brain coral, but for the next build I'm definitely going to have to go out and get some more. Yeah, so essentially I'm going to have to go back into the mines and do a lot of material gathering, because there's no way I have anywhere near enough gravel or andesite. Although I might be able to buy some andesite. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, let me get on to the build here. Yeah. Alright, I was going to do some huge material gathering montage, but it's not needed because I already have 90% of the materials. So, things I gathered: tough, deep slate, and wood. That's about it. It feels so weird not having to do a huge material gathering time-lapse before I do a build, but I mean, I didn't need to do it, so it's not needed. Anyways, on to the actual building part now. And as I go through this time lapse here, we are going to be talking about the lore behind the different cities I am building and going to build. So, starting off, right now what I'm building is the Kingdom of Hearts. There will be a Kingdom of Spades, which is where my end portal will be located at, a Kingdom of Clubs, which is where my nether portal will be located at, and a Kingdom of Diamonds, which is going to be a dwarven city somewhere else. I don't know where yet. Each city is going to have kind of like their specialization and everything. Not too crazy of like things with this until we actually get into deeper in lore, but like this is the port city. This is also going to be one of the larger ones because it is a port city. That just makes sense. The Kingdom of Clubs is going to be a farming city, and of course, a dwarven city is a mining city. And in the Spades, it's going to be more of like a magical-esque kingdom that lives with the land in a way, and I'll get into like their land magic in a bit. But essentially that's just a breakdown of the different cities. So, getting more into the City of Hearts, what does their magic do? They have a special healing property in the cavern underneath the cathedral that has special healing properties. This can extend to buildings and to people. So, the Kingdom of Spades wants that power because the healing properties is a special property that only the Kingdom of Hearts has. The Spades do not have healing magic. They want that. So they end up going to war with each other. During this war, both the Kingdom of Clubs and Diamonds stay out of it. They're neutral, whatever. Cool. They end up fighting for about 10 years, and then after this, they reach a stalemate. The reason for this is because they kind of both get hit very hard by an unexpected enemy, that being the Wither. You know, kind of trying to bring in, mobs from the game into here. Regardless, there was a battle at the city of Rewatch, which is going to be a little village located in between both of these kingdoms. There is a village transformation I plan on doing in the future that is actually settled like right in between these two with some cool land around it. So, well, when we get to that, we get to that. But that's besides the point. Anyways, someone summoned a Wither on the battlefield. Both sides lost magical casualties, so they come to a treaty. And what they do is that they decide to swap magic. The City of Hearts gives a Cathedral of Hearts, a mini version, over to the City of Spades, and then the City of Spades gives over one of their mini cathedrals to the City of Hearts. And then what this does is it allows them to kind of exchange magic in a way. So the City of Spades now has access to healing magic, and the City of Hearts has access to all magic, but to a lesser degree. So what this lesser magic does is it has the ability to extend the healing properties to all the land around it. A weaker version of it, but it allows it to extend, which is why the buildings here look fairly fine-tuned, but they're also starting to decay a little bit, is because they got hit with this, the spread of magic kind of in the middle of their life cycle, so they're stuck not fully, like brand new, but not like so old and decrepit. But that's just a little bit of lore behind there. So essentially, I just gotta build up 4 more cities, and that was just a little bit of lore, but between the cities. Now, if you're paying attention to what I said about the Kingdom of Clubs, that's where my nether portal is going to be located at. So take some inferences about that as you will. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys get back to the time lapse. This was actually an hour and a half of building, and this is only half of the building here. The other half is kind of copy and paste, so I'm not going to show the other half because, like I said, it's just copy and paste. There's no reason to. Anyways, you guys enjoy. Alrighty guys, I know I sounded a little bit dead in that last little clip there, but we are back in action. So let me show you guys what I did, because I didn't exactly show off everything. But what we got over here, well, let me fix my mic real quick, because sometimes when I make my P sounds, I kind of give out a little puff of air, and I don't really want my mic to, pick that up. But I'm not going to do anything too crazy in the lower levels here because of this stuff right in here. But we have a whole little shindig over here of animal stuff. I had to do something over here to get this all set up and whatnot, but that's besides the point. Got multitude different color sheep, most common colors white, although I have a bunch of different other colors, because just good to have an excess of them. And just slowly kind of gathering up here, so that's going to be that there. Now, there is no way to get up top to that section up there, but we do know, sorry if my keyboard sort of bugging out there, how to get up here, and I low-key need some lights. Yeah, right here needs some light. Honestly, I might just go with the standard torch and make kind of like a tiki torch-esque thing. Actually, no, end rod. End rod's definitely the way to go. So I guess I'll show this little section up here first. We got a nice little decorated area in here, and it's actually a little bit of a bedroom. This would be like my personal one because, no one else can get up here. Coolio. Nice little secret, in quotation marks, room. What do I want to do? I want bamboo, and I want maybe a lightning rod and an end rod. We're just gonna kind of see how this looks over here, but we gotta look at the other side now. As you guys can see, there's very much torches underneath here, but maybe I can do something like, oh, that didn't work out too well. Hopefully lightning won't strike these, but just a little something there. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't think the bamboo works too well. And that's a first for me, honestly. Let me get something else real quick. Okay, I got what I needed, which is pale oak stuff. That's not right. Oh yeah, that's 10 times better. So I'm probably gonna place a few of these around the thing here. But coming up into here, we have another little bit of a crafting area, and just, very basic interior decorations. Nothing really too fancy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really put too much effort into it. But it doesn't really need much effort. It just needed something. Maybe that makes sense. The underground cave is still underground caving. We have to get a chicken farm in place soon. And we have to get a pig farm. And then a cow farm. But the cows are going to have to come from somewhere else because I don't have any cows in the area, blah, blah, blah. But that shouldn't be too hard. Just got to place these in now. So let me do that real quick. Come on. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, crap. You know what? I'm going to be, 110% honest right now. I absolutely love that little design at the front here, where I just kind of come around, place one of these, and then place one of these. That I actually am going to put it on that right up there too. Because I feel like it's just like one of these little designs that can really help bring everything together. So I'm going to place them on the leftmost end, and then see exactly how it looks, and then we can kind of decide if we want to put it on every single one, because as you see, this is very close together. It might look a little bit too cluttered, if that makes sense, so we're just gonna have to see. Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna need it on both sides, because it's like, the houses are symmetrical. PC, can you please stop trying to explode on me over here? Oh, I forgot a stairway over here. Oh yeah, I was supposed to come in and do that later, wasn't I? Oh, whoops-a-daisy. We're gonna figure this out in a later episode. Because I'm pretty sure I had a whole plan there. But anyways, it's like, the build is symmetrical, but it's also not. So the actual like segments of them are very similar, but they're kind of staggered in a way that it's meant to be not symmetrical. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but like in my head it makes sense. That's what matters. In my head it makes sense. And as it's turning night here, we get to see the whole entire city lit up. That's kind of why I have so many lights here too, is so we can see it fully lit. So let's go see what this city looks like at the moment, fully lit up. Alrighty, seeing as we all know the process behind everything now, I gotta get to building, creating some more mock buildings, placing them in and whatnot. I want to get about 2 or 3 more in, and then that'll be the end of the video, so let me get to grinding this out. Enjoy the time lapses. I know, I am once again butting in here, but I just wanted to talk about these houses I'm building here. Now, I did say that I wanted a lot of these houses to have, automatic farms and stuff, whatnot inside of them, and I've done good for the most part, but these houses will not have any type of farm inside of them. They're just going to be decorated on the inside, which is going to take, a long time, and I obviously don't do that on camera, because as you guys can see, even as I'm building this, I keep going back and forth to my shulker box, and this is a planned build. So you guys already know how the unplanned builds go. Very, yeah. But anyways, these houses I'm building here are probably some of my favorite, and there is something missing from the houses in the time lapse that I did not add in, that I didn't think about until later. That being, something feels barren. The houses, they look good, but the area around it, it just doesn't feel the same as the areas I built before. And the reason for that is greenery and live things. So, if you look around, it's very stony, and there's no activity going on. So, I will go in off camera, and I will kind of place in a bunch of little, carts, wagons, stations, greenery, stuff like that along the area, just to make it feel that a little bit more alive, and maybe some like potted plants and things like that. Not huge details, but things that are like small enough that when you're walking around throughout the city, it feels like there's something there. Anyways, I'm gonna get on through the time lapse here. I hope you guys enjoy. If you could, like, subscribe, etc., because this did take an enormous amount of time. And here we go. Peace out. Alrighty, everyone. It's been a little bit of a long while, and hopefully my recording here is a little bit more smooth and precise. I'll definitely go back and see in a minute or two, but let's go view what I did. So, in looking at everything, hopefully you don't hear my PC in the back right now. In fact, let me quickly turn this down a little bit. But I added a bunch of stuff here. Look at all this stuff I added in. Added in some cards and whatnot, some greenery, some like little things. I added in this cool little fountain design over here. I love how this looks personally. Just added a bunch of different greenery things around. More trees. Whatever these are, I don't even know what they are. They just add some cool stuff. Added some tables, some more barrels. I added in a few little custom trees right here, and I actually did end up getting around to it, but coming around this side and finally placing in the stairs. I don't know what I'm going to do here though. I feel like I was supposed to do something here, but I never did. So, maybe we'll come back and do something. But, as I did promise, the buildings over here are fully decorated with interiors. So just coming in and checking these out real quick. We got this first building right in here. You know, nothing over, too crazy, whatnot. And then coming in over here, once again, still nothing too crazy. I did try to, change things up a little bit, keep it a little bit different, Oh, I forgot about that up there. Oops. Have to come back in and place in a little bit of roofing there. But let's go check out over here. I actually ended up making this into my sugarcane farm. Now, it is very small, but the interiors are fully done in here, which I like a lot. And then coming over to here, we have the sugarcane farm, in which we can see. I don't know if it's actually done anything yet. Can I please get down? Thank you. Oh, look at that. That actually started to work a little bit. So, we got some sugarcane grown there, and then let's go check out the other side real quick. So, as you guys remember, these kind of connect up here. But we have a little bit more decoration and whatnot, and then coming over to here, I don't really have much in this room over here, as anything actually, so there's that, and then I just placed these in. Redstone torch, might need that for the future. So, I think that's pretty much it for the episode here. Alrighty, this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, so much for listening. There will be definitely some new recording stuff I'm going to be doing here now. Hopefully everything's a lot more clear. If you could, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.